7 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order. And Mayor Walker is attending via online. That brings us to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That brings us to our agenda. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, or changes?
Madam Vice Mayor, when we get to the consent agenda, we will ask for 4.9 to be pulled, and we'll bring it back at another meeting. We got some very late information from Sherburne County we haven't had a chance to review.
And Tom?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Let me check with the mayor quick. Mayor Walker?
There, now you can hear me.
Any changes or deletions to the agenda?
I have no changes and I'll spare you my voice and let you know that I feel way better than I sound. And unless there is a need for me to talk, I won't tonight.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Vicki, go ahead.
So I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We have a consent agenda. Besides removing item 4.9, does anybody else have any changes or deletions or moves?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. And we have a consent agenda. All right, moving on to item number 5, presentation of retirement acts to former Fire Chief Ron Lawrence.
Vice Mayor, members of council, members of the community, it's my honor to present this axe to Ron Lawrence for 29 years and 11 months of service to this community. He continues to serve as emergency management director, but he did diligently serve this community a long time. And I do still have memories of us sitting side by side going through firefighter training. Thank you so much for your service. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Bob.
Myself and the Princeton Police Department, I want to thank you for all your years of service. You did well with the city, the community, and the fire department, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is open forum. Open forum is for public comment on any items that are not on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and the council will not discuss any legal matters. Do we have anyone here tonight for open? Seeing none, we'll go on to item number 7, old business. 7.1, West Plains Development, AKA the Hunter's Project.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair and council members. Most of you are most likely familiar with West Plains Development. We have a few ordinances here that are up for final reading. I'm going to just read through kind of the little narrative at the beginning, so the people that are here understand what public hearings are already held. There's a for all the items that we will be discussing in the next three ordinances. Public testimony was received by the planning commission for each of the items. The public hearing and time for public comment is now closed, and the planning commission forwarded a recommendation of approval for all the items that we will be talking about now. For the first item, ordinance number 864. This is the final reading for amending the zoning ordinance on the street parking. This is ordinance number 864, which should be in your packet.
Stacy. Anybody have any questions or comments about ordinance 864? The street parking. Okay. Motion?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 864.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? All in favor? On to 7.1.2.
Ordinance number 862, which is amending the zoning map for a portion of the property to rezone it from A1 agricultural to R3 multifamily residential, along with a planned unit development. This is also the final reading of this ordinance.
Big planning commission in this project. A lot of moving parts. So,
Yes, no more.
you know, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance 862.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. 7.1.3.
Ordinance number 863, for the same property is amending the zoning map for a portion of the property from A1 agricultural to the MOR medical office residential. This would be for the senior living facility. This is also the final reading.
Nobody has a lot of questions because we've already talked about
Been
that.
pretty well beat to death.
Yeah,
Motion to approve ordinance 863.
we have a motion. I need a second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All right, moving on to number 8, new business. Looks like we have a whole bunch of donations for our Mark Park Improvement Project and sport. So we'll operate on to 8.1.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, this is part of the efforts from a grassroots operation that's been looking to raise funds for improvements at Mark Park, specifically for a scoreboard and other improvements to achieve Title IX. And the first one before you is from Princeton Softball Association for $1,000 donation towards said improvements.
Wonderful.
These just keep coming in, don't they?
Yeah, we're so blessed.
I was just gonna say the community is so involved in this one and supporting it. It's awesome. All right, resolution 2481.
Make motion to approve a $1,000 donation from Princeton Youth Softball and Baseball Association.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Thank you.
Yeah. Item 8.2, resolution 2482.
Mayor, members of the council, again, this is, goes along with, the previous resolution. Pizza Pub is donating $5,000 towards the Mark Park Improvement Project scoreboard and various things that go with those amenities. Recommendation would be to approve. Wonderful donation.
$5,000.
Yeah.
That's great.
Make motion to approve resolution 24-82. Second.
A motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carries. Item number 8.3, resolution 24-84.
Mayor, members of the council, before you is a resolution to accept a donation of $5,000 from the American Legion Post 216 from Princeton for, again, Mark Park improvements and scoreboard project.
And I'll make a motion to approve 24-84.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That carries. One more, item 8.4, resolution 24-85.
Mayor and council, we have another $5,000 donation. This is from the Tiger Alumni Foundation. They see the value of the improvements to our facility. Recommendations to approve the donation.
$60,000.
Right there, make a motion to approve 24-85 from Tiger Alumni Foundation for 5,000.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Madam Mayor, if I may, this is a huge undertaking by a small group, and I just want to make sure that they're all recognized. And I truly appreciate what they're giving to this community. And I think the council recognizes that, but we can't forget those that are doing that work.
Yeah, you have a lot of in-kind work and stuff. And stuff.
And not to put you on the spot, but do you know where you're at with the total?
About 27.5.
Yes, 27,
What about 840 something or 50? Well, was it?
we'll need a little over 40.
Little over 40, but we have a lot of in-kind work coming in.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I got more coming next week.
So we have, we have enough to get started where we can actually put footings in for the field work.
I'm full of you, Nicole, getting enough to get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, that's so great. All right, thank you.
If I might say a word on this.
Yes.
It would probably be appropriate to make a dedication plaque similar to what's in the Civic Center and display that prominently somewhere.
I agree.
No, we can.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Madam, no, if we actually, if I may, we actually, so at the Solheim Field, they did a similar project.
Mhm.
And they have 4x6 sign up of all the levels of the sponsorship for the scoreboard and the project. We already have that sign up and running and ready to go. So there we are, all the businesses that have donated this will be on there, and it'll be on up at the park.
Well, there you go, Mayor.
No, thank you very much for that. Just wanted to make sure that question was asked, and I'm glad it's answered.
Yeah. Awesome. All righty, item number 8.5, resolution 24-83.
Madam Mayor, members of the council. Princeton Chevrolet, this would be the third year that we've done this. They chose Princeton Police Department as it's a first responder test drive program. So basically to participate, they give you a $500 donation, and then for a course of, I think it's 30 days, anybody who comes in and test drives a Chevrolet car from their dealership, they donate another $25. So this will be hopefully not the first check, but more to come. So I encourage everybody to go buy a car or at least test drive. And so we will be using this for some last minute equipment to just try to replenish some of our first aid supplies.
Awesome.
So, yeah, okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 24-83.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more conversation? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, moving on to 8.6. Looks like a public hearing for alley vacation for Gerard. I need to call for a public hearing?
No,
Okay.
we already,
We already did that.
yep, so you'll, go ahead, motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, make a motion to open the public hearing for the alley vacation.
Second.
Motion in a second, all in favor? Opposed? Public hearing's open. Okay, 8.6.1. Oh, no,
Mr. Jarvis, if you would like to speak.
sorry.
I don't know if I'm supposed to come up here or not. I have nothing.
You have nothing to speak about. Okay. All right.
Yeah, just so that the public is aware, this is the alley that is Mr. Gerard. Mr. Gerard, can you remind me what your address is, please?
411 North from River Drive.
Okay, so, and he also owns property on the other side of the alley. So he is requesting that the alley be vacated. It's unimproved. There are reserved easements for, I believe, a gas main over part of it. And I don't believe we have any other utilities looking to,
No, there was a water main that has been actually vacated and filled with sand went around the property. Sanitary runs east and west on the north side of his property, and so there's nothing that we have in the three facilities other than Bill Gaston.
so,
Just the title work, presume there has to be some title work done, we just send it to the county and they take care
the
of it.
county will, once we provide them with the resolution, after the public hearing's been closed, and if the council approves the resolution, we'll send that up to the county. They will make it a record and, they will do their magic, with the parcel mapping and all of that fun stuff. So our part will be done, Mr. Gerard. So. Oh, just close the public hearing.
What's the motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Yeah, motion to close in a second. Any further conversation? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, the public hearing is closed. Now we can move on to 8.6.1, resolution 24-76.
Before, actually.
Yes.
Second.
In a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Great. Moving on to 8.7, resolution 24-79, canvass of city election results.
Yes, Vice Mayor and Council, these are the results that we had from the election. Was crazy busy. Never seen an election
Yeah.
like this. We had a really great turnout. So just approving Jack as the mayor and then Monica and Derica as council members. This is a process that we have to do by state statute.
And I see Monica and Derek are here in the audience tonight, so welcome. And we're glad to see you here tonight. All right, anybody have any thing you want to mention or? Thanks for all your hard work on the elections, Shawna.
Thank you.
It was a wild night.
Yes, we closed the polls and there was still an hour's worth of voters.
Lining the streets.
Yes, if you
They
were
were in line by 8, right?
correct, we did have a nice person who had gone home to have dinner. And came back at 8:45 and thought that she would be allowed to vote. And we had to gently explain the rules to her, so she was a trooper, she did it well.
Yeah.
You had better take care of this.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 24-79.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Madam Vice Mayor, can I just make a quick thank you and a comment,
Yes.
about Shauna? So I don't know how many people realize this, but she does, she works with the senior facilities on early voting. So she actually goes to the facilities and assists these people, with casting their ballots. And I don't know if every city does that. I've never seen that before. But I thought it was really cool that she takes the time to do that with all the different facilities. And it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time out of her day, but it's well worth it, I think. And I just wanted to thank her for doing it.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm sure they appreciate that very much.
You all know Christmas is coming, right, Sean?
All right, moving on to 8.8, resolution 24-8.
Madam Vice Mayor, now that we've declared or approved the canvass of city election results, we do note that, with Counselor Edmonds, being elected to mayor, that we will have a vacancy. This is very similar to what occurred in 2012 when Counselor Whitcomb was elected mayor. So in order to start a process, fill the vacancy, and have a full council on January 9th of 2025. I've put together, borrowing from that 2012 process, put together the resolution with Attorney Tobin's assistance and a process by which council can accept applications, provide do some interviews to talk to people, and then make an appointment in December so that that person then can be prepared in January. So we'd like to recommend approval of resolution 2486, which will declare the vacancy and to initiate the appointment process as laid out.
Well, I make a motion to
Oh,
approve.
hold on.
It's okay, Vicki.
Yeah, just something I wanted to point out is on the appointment letter itself.
Yep.
It states that interviews will happen prior to the
It should say at.
5th. Okay,
Because this, my intention would be that this would be the only topic of consideration or topic of work for the council on the 5th would be.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Because it said, the appointment letter said prior,
Yep.
and then the memo says during, so I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure
No,
that was clear.
Thank you for catching that, and I will make that correction.
Okay, sounds good. Anybody else have any?
Yeah.
No, she's talking about the letter that's farther in the packet.
The letter that will be sent out to people. Is saying it will be before. Anybody else have anything? I think the process sounds good.
Yeah, but you get it right, but who's?
Yeah, you reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah. All right, now go ahead,
A
Vicki.
little bit.
Okay, motion to approve. 2486.
All right, we have a motion to approve. I'll make a second. Oh, Jeff, there you go. And we have a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Thank you. We'll get started on the process. Sure.
And moving on to 8.9, 2025 budget review.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor and members of the council. So in your packet are all of the updated budget worksheets. I'm not intending to do a line by line review tonight because it's a lot of data. I do have in the packet somewhat of a general budget note memo. We have been working with our financial consultant. We have found some things that we've been doing that we are not statutorily obligated to do. So, so some of the special revenue fund budgets will no longer be part of the overall budget because we're not required to actually budget for them. But we will obviously maintain those financial reports and can provide them at any given time to whomever wishes to receive those financial numbers. So the budget worksheets do not reflect updated wage and benefit numbers right now, because we are still waiting for employees to submit their healthcare electives. People might be switching from single to family, family to single, et cetera. We have added a new line item for the new healthcare benefit Kavira. That is our cost. We have agreed to do that. We're still working through the capital expenditures budget. Staff has been fine tuning things, and it's a little bit of a moving target, but we'll have that dialed in for December 12th. We're still working on journal entries. We found a number based on our conversation. You'll note in the building inspection budget, permit surcharges are that we collect and pay to the state are actually a pass-through, and they actually should be in a liability account and not actually in the operating budget. So there'll be some behind the scenes accounting changes that will happen, and they are coming out of the operating budget. The only item you'll see is our 4% retainage, and we will attempt to budget for that. Portion of the cell phone bills for the police chief, the fire chief, and the public works director will be now covered by the REP program. We are moving the Solheim Field expenditures out of the special revenue fund and into the park maintenance budget, as well as the Light Up Princeton supplies and reimbursements, because the chamber has taken over really managing that program. There'll be some work regarding the Economic Development Fund. My head hurts just thinking about that, but that's a problem for tomorrow, Michelle. And we also need to make some changes in regards to how we're tracking bond proceeds and payments. Actually, the only thing we track as an expense in the budgets for the enterprise funds really are interest. So, and then also, as with the surcharges, sales tax that we collect and pay to the state on liquor sales are also a liability, and they are to be tracked in a liability fund. So Dylan, you and Lynn will have some changes to make in regards to that. That will eliminate the confusion as to why the taxes and licenses line item in the liquor fund goes up and down and up and down, and makes no sense comparing year to year. So every day is a learning experience, and we just keep learning new things and fixing and getting things better. So those are just some general budget notes to let you know kind of what's been going on behind the scenes. So before we can actually approve this year's budget, I needed to circle back to some decision points. And we discussed these as part of the preliminary budget discussion in September. And so I have laid them before you in the budget review memo decision points that is in your packet. So I'm going to need some council action tonight so I can get the right numbers in the budget. So starting out with item number 1, which is to eliminate the annual contribution to the Initiative Foundation. That will result in a deduct of $2,870 from the mayor and council budget.
Do you want just a consensus on these or a vote?
Well, I think it would be best to do a vote, just, I'm not asking you to approve the budget, I'm just asking you to approve to take these out or add these in. I think technically it would be better to be a vote. Attorney Tobin is nodding his head, so yes. Need a
All right,
copy?
you'll just keep track of it.
Okay, well, I will make notes on mine and I will give you a copy.
All right, so let's move on to item number 1, eliminate the annual contribution to the Initiative Foundation. So do we need motions or are we just voting?
You need a motion and a second.
Okay, so can I get a motion for item number 1? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to deduct 2870 from the Initiative Foundation contribution.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? None, all in favor, say aye. Aye,
I,
opposed?
The mayor.
No, the mayor was a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a thumbs up.
There is a thumbs up.
there's a,
Okay.
I'll keep doing the thumbs up.
Okay, all right.
Someone needs
So
to.
number 1 passed.
Yep.
Item number 2, eliminate membership in the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, which would deduct $9,800 and $3,000.
We discussed this. We are members of the League of Minnesota Cities. And the dues for that organization is about roughly $5,000 to us, give or take a few hundred. They essentially lobby for us similar to the Greater Minnesota Cities Coalition.
I think we decided we get a much bigger benefit from the.
Correct.
There's
A lot of
very simple.
assistance.
Yeah.
Legislation, I haven't, are we losing anything by not belonging to both, and we're not, I think we discussed that, we're not losing anything, that was my only concern.
I'll make a motion to approve that one. Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Okay, so 4-1, that passes. All right, item number 3. Consider an increase in mayor and council salaries as presented on September 24th.
Right, so I believe Councilors Reynolds and Pauline were, out. Staff presented information regarding, the last time there was an increase. It's been more than 12 years, I think, looking at Shauna. And I presented options to the, council at that time. And, now I need some direction, some approval, because, obviously I need to increase the mayor and council budget if that is, if increasing the, salaries is something that, this body is interested in.
I think it's an increase since I've been
It's been a really long time.
here, 20 years.
And I think I mentioned too at the time that I was shocked when I spoke with a school board member and found out that they make a lot more money than the city councilors.
To say,
If I might say a word on this one.
Yeah. He wants to say,
This is actually a good opportunity for us to do this because we have 3 outgoing members of the council, and if they're willing to vote for this, you're not voting yourself a raise. And I think that's an important thing to understand, and for the public to understand that this is just trying to be good government and not, paying ourselves, so to speak. So that's what I would like to say about this one.
Yeah, yeah, he brought that up last week. I'm also wondering if there isn't something we want to, so that this doesn't continue to happen, to not have anything change for the next 15 or 20 years. Do we want to put something in that gets looked at every 4 years, or just want to do it as it comes up? I don't know.
Well, we have four, I guess, but.
And it is possible, there are some jurisdictions, I don't know any off the top of my head, but there are some bodies that might apply the same cost of living increase that their line staff gets to their own salaries. Just as policy, that would be something to consider. The council, we could use that as a benchmark, and the council, when they're approving, the future council, when they're approving a budget, could say, well, we don't want to give ourselves that cost of living.
So I think the mayor's point is very good to do. Periodically, you're gonna have a turnover of three or more. Not at the time to be addressed, but
It'd be every 2 years.
you may not have a full turnover.
No,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, I do know ever since I've been here 20-some years, there has not been an increase in council or mayor salary. And as a matter of fact, when Governor Pawlenty was in office, he did the lowering of local government aid, LGA, that commissions, councils and commissions all over did a decrease in their pay as well.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Cut it in half, so that may be,
Everybody's looking for something, and that was one.
yeah, because it was not an allotment during the first biennium, which wasn't even a legal process. So council might want to consider increasing their commission.
It's next on the agenda.
Okay.
It's on the deal.
So I think it's a good idea.
Okay, so number 3, any other conversations?
I guess I should support a 25% increase, but not a 50.
Mhm.
Here,
No, I would say the 50% because it's not gonna happen again for another 20 years, just to be honest, because it's impossible to do.
We'll look at it later.
Because I'm sorry, Jack. You do have to vote on this to make it happen. I don't think that you can do a cost of living increase on this one.
So it's a difference of $3,991 per year or $7,982 per year. So if it's 25% divided by 20 years. Somebody want to make a motion and the 3 can vote, or?
I'll make the motion to increase the mayor and council salaries by 50%. Maybe the most important thing is to say that we're increasing that whole budget by $7,982.65.
Okay, we have a motion. Second.
Need to ask for
Second.
one more time.
Anyone want to second the mayor? Okay, one dies. We'll go on to the 25% increase.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second for 25. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Opposes. Now what?
Give a 1 with a 3. Get through the 1.
Well,
And we wouldn't have to abstain, I suppose, but
yeah, with the 2 abstentions, the motion passes as I will read it.
Correct.
Yep, so you're good.
So the motion passes at 25%?
Yep. And we just need to reflect that Jack and Jenny abstained. All right, the next item is more of an update as opposed to a decision. We met with, City Attorney Tobin, Chief Frederick and I, and modified the request. And so, we were able to actually, between, keeping the civil retainer at the current level of $2,000 per month and increasing the criminal retainer to $4,500 for 2025 as opposed to 5,000, and then increasing it to 5,000 in 2026 versus 6,000, and then increasing it to 5,500 versus 6,000 in 2027. And then looking at the other charges, we actually were able to end up with a result as a budget neutral change from 24 to 25. So the attorney's budget is staying flat.
Well, and that's just because the other charges were not getting used.
Correct.
So it wasn't an expense.
No,
We were budgeting for it, but we weren't spending.
correct. We weren't spending it.
So we're just not gonna budget for that.
We believe that the amount that's left, the $6,000, is sufficient to cover any miscellaneous odd expenses that might come about due to some land deals or anything that might require some title work. So,
Do we have any leeway if he runs over that to charge more or?
no, currently, if you were to review the actual hard copy bills that the attorney submits to us, he is already writing off anything over the retainage amount, except for things like mileage and postage, nominal mileage.
Yeah, hard expenses will be overly.
Correct. So. So once the retainer's been set, that's how much we pay per month.
So just for number purposes, the initial request that he submitted was for an increase of 38.3% over 2 years. And with this new amount, it would be an increase of 37.5% over 3 years.
I didn't do that. I'm bad at math, but, what I was say, but a couple of things. One is, I think it's an offset at the end of the day because there's gonna be a shift of money. And just so the council's aware, when I went through this and provided everything to, Michelle, the contract, Steve Anderson had been the city attorney for a quarter century, and I've been doing it coming up on 18 years now. Contract's never been increased in the entire time. And that was the prior firm's choice, I guess, not to address anything as time went on. But if you look at what's been presented, both, with this and previously, I'm writing off a monumental amount of time, and that's just the nature of contract work, but given the amount of work that has increased over the years, I felt now would be the time to try and bring it at least somewhat closer to neutral, although there's always gonna be write-offs, and there's just no getting around that, and I understand that. So that's what prompted this, and I contemplated doing this when I took over, when the old firm dissolved, but that was kind of at the tail end of COVID, and none of my cities, I didn't want to put any of my cities through that at the time, so.
Will you be asking for another increase in 2028?
I think that we are fairly close to where it should be. I can't imagine anything significant above, what we had talked about, 2-3% cost of living adjustment. Pretty close to that. I'm not gonna make a guarantee because if they bring in a fourth judge and they start doing, night court or Saturday courts that Judge Rubel's continually threatened us with decades. I don't know what'll happen, but I really think that this is the last time they're gonna see a significant jump or a request for a significant increase.
I guess it's safe to assume that you negotiated this, so you're okay with it.
Yeah. Although I do insist, with this contract, I want my freaking merit, the little plaques you give people, 5, 10, 15, 20. I've never gotten one. Ever. I want one. You gotta, Malacca didn't finish.
Yeah.
You gotta end the career and then you get.
Yeah, I had to threaten Malacca like 5 years in a row. Eventually they gave them to me. I got
I
5.
have it, it's at my office. Hold it, hold it.
Yeah.
Not a pretty heavy lift.
All right, so item number 4. Approving the union's pay increase.
Probably should do that.
So our contract with our city attorney.
No, I can vote on that, I'll make a motion to the recommendation.
Okay.
You have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Here. It's number 5.
Yes, this is the increase for the per diems for board and commission members. Currently, they get $10 per meeting. And when we were looking at making a change to the planning commission, composition and bylaws, we found that it used to be $25 per meeting. And so we are just, requesting that it be brought back to $25 per meeting. That is a budget increase to what's currently budgeted of $3,240. And that's assuming that, every, board and commission that's listed meets their full annual allotment of meetings and that everybody's there. So, which, planning commission meetings get canceled due to no items. Some people miss a meeting. So 3240 is the worst case scenario.
I think a comment was made, I don't remember by me or who, but I don't think anybody took it for the money, but certainly time is worth $25 a meeting.
Well, and prepping before, it isn't just the meeting,
Right,
it's prep time.
If we're doing our job, there's a lot more into it than in years.
I mean, even council meeting, it might look like it's just 2 hours every Thursday night, but if you read your council packet from the beginning to the end, it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, and then drive by the properties, things, developments, all of it.
Yeah. Okay, item number 5, increase per diems for boards and commission members from $10 to $25.
I make motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Here. Number 6.
The last item, is a request, to increase the emergency management hours from 10 hours per week to 15. Attached in your packet is the list of items that, emergency manager Lawrence has put together, and then he and I met today and with a review of information that we sent to Mille Lacs County about their hazard mitigation plan. There are additional tasks that did not make this list. The additional hours, half of those would be offset by our rep grant, and he is also, along with Officer Nicole Josephs, providing EMR initial and refresher classes. So we have some additional revenues to offset emergency manager Lawrence and to some extent Officer Nicole Josephs' time for those classes as well. So we have revenue that's coming in to offset a portion of the requested hours. I believe that additional hours are required, especially as we increase our staff training in terms of being able to respond in the event that we do have an incident. we have some tasks that, Ron will be working on, in order to make sure we are adequately prepared as a staff to respond to the community should an event happen. So that's his first priority for us.
One thing I just want to ask is on the public safety emergency management budget, I see that. Do we need to put any revenue in here to cover his salary?
On the emergency management
Yeah,
portion, there is, yes, there is a little bit of revenue. Let me grab.
$3,000 for EMS training fees.
Yeah.
Other jurisdictions,
Correct,
but I
that's-
don't see anything for the rep grant that
No,
covered.
that falls under the disaster relocation. So the hours that you see, the part-time hours
Yeah,
that are in the disaster relocation, and then the part-time hours under emergency management, that's essentially the split of those 15 hours. So half of his time is budgeted in disaster relocation and half of his time is budgeted in the emergency management budget.
and then there could be additional funds.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yep. That $3,000 is our best guesstimate as to how many other jurisdictions might utilize our services. Obviously, he and Officer Josephs are providing refreshers for our police department. They did staff CPR training, which was very well received. I think Chris can attest to that. He really enjoyed the CPR training that was performed. And I know that Ron's in discussions with Mille Lacs County to do some training for them. And so I don't know how many folks that will include, but so that $3,000 is roughly our best guesstimate right now. It's basically $300 for an initial course, and that's assuming that we get 10 people from other jurisdictions to participate. So that number could be low.
I would also like to take the class, so the next time,
Which one?
the CPR class,
Oh, absolutely.
beneficial for us. Okay. So we have a staff recommendation to add 5 hours per week to the emergency manager's allotted hours.
I make that a motion.
We have a motion. Can we get a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion passes.
I think Mayor Walker was trying to say something.
He's trying to talk for his hand.
I just said that I would abstain from this vote.
So 4-1. Okay, motion still passes. Okay,
All right, so in your packet, is the CIP budget.
can we go back to talk about the budget review? So
Oh,
if
sure.
I have
Yep.
some stuff, do you want me to come sit with you?
That-
Privately,
Yep.
and not do it tonight?
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
great. I think that would be
I can-
the best use of time. Did anybody else see anything in the budget worksheets that they want to raise? Otherwise, Counselor Gerald and I will go through them and fix all the bugs.
Yep.
As it were.
All right, now we'll move on to 8.9.2.
Okay, sorry. This in your packet is the most updated version of the CIP budget. I think I mentioned that we're still tweaking a few things and making sure that, we've got everything included. One thing that will be, that I will present is we still have the monies for the certified lab, and I owe the council a memo on why we are recommending that we not pursue that. So Chris and I need to work up that memo to provide you with the information. Chris and his staff have done an exemplary job on research and putting together numbers with the lab that we currently have and why it's more cost beneficial to continue the way we're doing it. So, but the council needs to take a look at that in hard copy.
That was in here for this year, wasn't it?
Correct, it was. So that's why we need to provide you an update. Otherwise, the other things that have been added is the list of the Mark Park improvements that have been identified by the community group. So those numbers are also in the budget for 25, 26, and 27. And other than that, that's, the other new item that wasn't in here previously are the garage heaters for the police and fire garages. We have some cracked plenums, I believe that's the right term. So those need to be replaced. And those are scheduled in the 2025, so that's a recent addition, so. Otherwise. You have questions?
Well, I was just gonna comment that I started going through this today, noticed there's like quite a few items on here that we like didn't discuss or approve or.
Yep.
I mean, I found numerous ones on the airport. You know, there's like the perimeter fence, snow removal equipment building, the jet fuel. So anyways, I would like time at some point at a meeting where we can all go through it again and discuss everything and approve it, because like I was super surprised today when I pulled it up and went, well, that wasn't on there before and that wasn't, you know what I mean?
We'll plan for a detailed review at the November 26th meeting.
November 26th.
Yep, so that's our next regular meeting. By then, I think I'll have worked with staff to make sure that we don't have any other additions or document number changes.
Could I say something, regarding the shop heaters or garage heaters? If there's a cracked plenum in a heater, either we should have an emergency fund to fix those or turn them off. Right?
Just did something.
They're not leaking any gas, all checked.
Yeah,
Well, but are they leaking carbon monoxide?
No,
We have carbon monoxide alarms in both garages where these are at. And Paul has replaced those sensors, so those are up to date, so we're monitoring it as we go.
Okay, as long as it's not a safety issue, otherwise it sounds like it's pretty serious.
all right. So then, the only other thing that's in this particular 8.9.3 then would be the budget worksheets. And there's a lot of them. And so I think, Councilor Gerald and I are gonna be geared up to do that. If someone else wants to come in and have a discussion, if there's something that you have questions on, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a really major mistake somewhere in the liquor store.
all for our previous month's stuff, yeah.
Right. It's a timing issue. it's,
Well, it isn't even just the previous month. If you look at current revenue, current today revenue,
Mhm.
like we're budgeting for $500,000. And your current year-to-date revenue says right now with expenses, you're at 52,270.
You have to add, I think it's about 460,000 in sales from last month to that. So that's why. So expenses are come in faster versus the, because we have to wait for the end of month and then at the all below them get put in.
You saw it.
yeah, no, it's a,
$500,000.
Yeah.
guys.
no, it's essentially a leg between,
I almost had a heart attack.
we're gonna.
CPR?
Yeah. Good thing Bob knows CPR.
Yeah,
Okay, good deal. Okay.
all right.
Yeah, so if anybody has anything that you see, get with Michelle and
Bless you.
she'll be kind enough to sit down and go through.
Yeah, one last item, I did hand to each of the the counselors, the current, as of today, well, as of yesterday, when I did the budget worksheets. The preliminary November levy numbers, with an attached summary of all the expenses, revenues. And when we adopted the preliminary levy, we were at 16.6%. And as of right now, we've lowered that to 5.37%. But, again, the wages haven't been double or triple checked, so that 0.3 could go up a little bit. But we're right in the ballpark of that 5.3 to 5.5%, so. Just wanted to give the council an update in regards to that.
Thank you, that's way better than 6 months.
Correct, but we were in a period of uncertainty with where we were at with healthcare and those types of things. So I wanted to make sure that we weren't shorting ourselves at this time of the year. So the number was scary, but I'd like to thank everybody's efforts for really fine tuning and looking at their budgets, and it does take a village to do the budget. So. That's all I have on the budget.
That moves us. Anybody have any questions for Michelle? We'll move on to 8.10, the bill list. And I got my questions answered. Anybody else have anything?
All right. Make a motion to approve the October 30th, 2024 check register containing checks 88949 to 88951 and ACH payments 241087 and 241088. Totaling $6,572.86, and the November 14th, 2024 check register containing checks 8888952 to 88903 and ACH payments 241089 and 24112.
Yeah, please, another one. I fixed this and. Yeah, an extra one, so it's like 41112.
112.
Yep.
1114241 1114242, totaling $238,508.38. Pay period 22 check register containing ACH payments 242210001 to 242210054, totaling $143,021.71. And the pay period 23 check register containing checks 63740, 88717, and 89004 to 89014, and ACH payments 242310001 to 242310058, totaling $142,306.85.
You have a motion? Anybody want to make a second? Yeah. Motion in a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on to 8.11, City Administrator Biweekly Report.
Pretty short this week. We finally are getting close to landing the FAA lease. Unfortunately, it is for another 5 years, but they've assured me that they are going to be working to vacate the flight service station. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
At least we've got a timeline anyway.
Yes, and people are talking to me. Boards and commission terms are gonna expire, so, you know, folks that wanna serve, please recruit them. Shauna has put together the Facebook post, and so we're already advertising. We have truth and taxation on December 12th. We'll also approve the budget levy at that time. We are talking to folks about wanting to develop, but no formal applications have been submitted. We are seeing, some of our investments being called. We have a number of, long-range CDs that are, that were earning 5% or higher. So the financial institutions are calling those in, and RBC has been working to reinvest those in non-callable investments. So those non-callables are at about 3.75%. We have done some recent investments in short-term treasury bills and notes, and those are with Morton Capital LLC. And those are earning over 4% interest still. So, and those are not callable. So that's good. Fire Advisory Board met November 6th. They looked at a revised contract, and I'm sending that out for them to send to their various legals to look at. We have 5 applications currently for firefighter openings, and there are 5 folks that have submitted for running for the 2 captains positions that are open.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So they're gonna approve the fire contracts. Will that be effective January 1 of next year?
Yeah, I expect that we won't see an approval till probably the March or April meeting, so I think we're gonna continue to work under the current
Okay.
mess of a formula. The benefits fair, I thought, we've received some really good positive feedback. I think folks enjoyed it. I think, the location and the time seem to work well. And I think we'll continue to do it at the public safety building. Hopefully, everybody can continue to attend. And, Canaan Bogey, recovered from surgery, and he's doing well, I believe.
He is rambunctious. Yes, so that means I think it's well.
So,
Going through a lot of hoods right now.
A lot of hoods.
The hoods.
the cone
Shame.
Cone of shame.
We're replacing a lot of hoods, yes.
Just, you know, that's that guy, Jack.
No, we're thinking, if all continues well, maybe within the next week and a half. He'll have to go through some. He'll probably have to go through a little bit of training back over again to kind of, you know, cause he's been out the road now for. What, 2 weeks, I think, or over 2. So Jason's gonna run him through some stuff, and Bob's gonna help with some retrieval.
You put your big arm down.
Yeah, but he's doing well.
You put a chair at one time, you had a big.
I've got insurance benefits.
And they attach the stomach, so it won't flip.
Yes, yeah, that was, so that, no, the surgery went well. Obviously, they stapled and attached the stomach liner so that doesn't flip. And then they ended up actually removing the spleen, so that was kind of a big piece. And then obviously all the biopsies came back negative, so that was good. So they're doing some tweaking of some food and stuff. For the most part, everything's been good so far.
That's great to hear.
And then there's just our laundry list of upcoming meetings for the rest of the month. With that, I'll answer any questions, otherwise I have nothing more to add.
Anybody have anything for Michelle? All right, we'll move on to item number 9, committee report.
Yeah, public utilities have not met. Or since our last meeting, which we was reported on. But, yeah, I mean, you've seen the DW equipment around town, again, I've been told that it's going very well. I don't know what the deadlines or timelines are, but they're replacing, the old water, hookups for water services, I guess, so. It was a little bit of a grant process, but anyway, you see them all over, you know. But I've been told that it's been going well.
I don't have anything.
Oh, no.
All right. Nobody has anything else? I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion? And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
That carries. You adjourned.